This is a 2021 Honda Recon. And in fact, it's my 2021 Honda Recon. We bought this thing in basically brand new condition for $1,500 off of what Honda wants you to pay for a brand new one of these. So today I'm going to explain why I chose this, why I think you should choose it, and why it is also probably the best value four-wheeler on the market as far as I know. Now, if you've looked at Hondas in the most recent years, you will know that the Recon is below the Rancher in the Honda utility four-wheeler lineup. It is a 250cc engine, which is around 100cc smaller than the Rancher, and it has a 5-speed transmission, which is shared with the Rancher, either a Footshift or you can get an optional electronic button shift for the handlebars to shift with your thumbs. Now, mine is not equipped with that because, for one, they're more expensive, but two, they're just harder to find. But if you also get the electric shift, you get a little gear readout here. And as far as controls go, your thumb throttle, your front drum brakes, you have your lights, your low high beam switch, your kill switch, your electric start, your key, your neutral indicator, your reverse indicator, and on this side you have your rear brake, which also doubles as a parking brake and a lockout for the reverse, so you don't accidentally go into reverse while you're going forward, which would not be very good. Now, you would think every four-wheeler would have a reverse, and in fact, they all should have a reverse. For some reason, some don't. Luckily, this one does have a reverse, but for some reason, usually those small, like 50 to 90cc ATVs, for some reason don't have reverse. Like, they think little kids can't figure out how to reuse reverse. It's not that hard, but come on, Honda, everything should have a reverse. And your cable pull choke, yes, it is a carbureted four-wheeler, unfortunately. Gotta save money somewhere, and there's no speedometer or anything, but again, they got to save money somewhere. But yeah, pretty simple dashboard. And you also have a 2.4 gallon gas tank with a 0.6 gallon reserve. On the right side of the four-wheeler, you have your fuel cutoff switch if you wanted to go into reserve. You have your shifter, down for push down for downshift, up for upshift. 229cc, 16 horsepower, single cylinder, Honda made engine. Probably will last basically forever because it is a Honda, and they do that. Unless if you don't put an air filter in it, then they blow up. But besides that, they last forever. On the left side of the four-wheeler, you have a rear foot brake and nothing else. You can take off the seat to reveal your air box, your battery. In the back, you have your singular rear brake light. You have a tiny little trunk that holds your little toolkit, your exhaust, and a tow hitch. This can actually tow 500 pounds. And here is the load capacity sticker. 2.9 PSI on front and rear tires combined, and 386 pounds, which is just enough for your mom. In the front, here is your rack in the front. It is a little less capacity than in the back. I think it's around half, 45 pounds. You have your halogen two-stage headlights. So there's low beam, then high beam. No turn signals, so it's not road legal. Have a reflector down here, your little front skid plate, and no radiator because this engine is air-cooled. In the front, you have what actually appears to be a double wishbone suspension setup with a actual strut and damper that can actually take quite a bit of abuse. And in the back, you just have a live rear axle with a welded diff, a drive shaft, and a single rear strut. Start it up. Might have heard me say that this is a 2021, and in fact it is a 2021, but for the 2022 they didn't change anything except for the plastic colors, which you can just order and swap out. Prices for the 2022 are $4,499 for the Footshift model and $4,799 for the electric shift option if you would want that. Personally, I would just stick with the Footshift. It's not that hard to shift with your foot. It's a lot more reliable. Some of the older electric shifts, especially on the old Ranchers, would fail all the time, and you would have to make sure the battery's charged to get into gear. So Footshift would probably be more reliable, but I guess it's kind of convenient to have electric shift if you want it. Personally, I'm really happy with this four-wheeler. Yes, it's a little bit bare bones. No four-wheel drive, no bigger engine, only 250cc, no two-passenger configurations, a decent but not a huge towing capacity, carbureted engine. Those are just small downsides for me. And besides carburetors, I don't think a vehicle this size would have two seats anyway. You can fit two people on here. It's just there's no like actual second seat. I don't think there's really anything I really dislike about this four-wheeler. I just say it's a great value for the price you pay. It's like $2,000 less than a base model Rancher, but you get the same full experience essentially. It's just a smaller engine, a smaller frame, and less creature comfort.
Side note, but because the track width of the ATV is very narrow, you can very easily pick up a rear around corners. Just watch this.
So I think that's about it for the tour. Not much to show because it's just a four-wheeler, but let's get out on the trail and see how it drives. Open trail. This thing is surprisingly refined, actually. I think for a 230cc single-cylinder engine, it would be pretty jittery, but it's actually very smooth. Powertrain is really what I'm most impressed with, considering that it is the baby Rancher. But other than that, the transmission downshifts are easy. The steering is light, so, even if there's no assist to it. The seat is very cushy feeling. I feel in control of the machine. It doesn't feel overly powerful. It feels perfect, like for the weight. I just think this is like one of the best all-round four-wheelers if you don't need four-wheel drive. I really can't say much more about it. It just is a good value. This thing is just, it's so nice just because, you know, it's a Honda. Like, you know it's gonna be reliable. It's not gonna break down. It's very simple. You just have a lot of trust in it. And I think that's really why I value this thing so much as like a value, a good value. Because if you were to get an ATV from another brand, you're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna break, I'm gonna have to fix all this crap. But it's, you know, like Hondas are built well and they will last a very long time. I'm gonna punch it here. Let's do a braking test. So I was going a decent speed and I started braking around this tree. So as you can see, here's where the brakes locked up, and then I just skidded to here, which is pretty good braking. I wasn't going super fast, but that's a decent scenario, I guess. The nice thing about this is that you can actually floor it and not die. But I really like the gearing. It's very it's spaced well. Because this is 5th gear, and like the engine's just not like barely like running. It's just cruising around in 5th, but I can go down a gear, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and then save you a lot of money just doing that, because we saved like $1,500 on this one just because it was a good deal. And we're including dealer shipping fees and stuff, because dealer fees add like another 500, and then you have tax, which is like another like few $100. So honestly, if you can find a very good used one, I would highly recommend this. But yeah, that's my short review of the Honda Recon. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe. Until next time, bye!